Today is the day, baby. Today is the day. Game day, the day that we've all been waiting for since the Eagles bust the Chiefs' ass. This is the day. I usually don't wear glasses on this day. But I'm walking into a funeral. I'm walking into a massacre in broad daylight. And then after the massacre on broad daylight, we gonna celebrate on Broad Street. Jerry Jones, you don't want this smoke, brother, but you're gonna get it. Dak Prescott, you're gonna be fearing for your life when Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, coming off tremendous postseason runs, are coming after you. I saw Nolan Smith in the Super Bowl tell a trainer, F you, I'm still playing. I don't care about no torn tricep. We got some freaking dogs on this team, and I didn't even mention Jihaad Campbell of freaking nature, a guy who's getting all the tools in the world to be his best self. Going to talk about him a little bit later. But this Eagles defense, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, I've been hearing talk that Cooper DeJean can hang CD's cleats. I like Cooper DeJean's chances. I'm not saying CD is going to be out here and have like 20 receiving yards and just be totally shut down. What I am saying is when it matters, when the game is tight, which is only going to be for the first quarter, probably the first quarter and a half, you're not going to see CD do much against these guys. But when the Eagles have soft coverages in their defense, all right, I can see CD or George Pickens get off. But Vic Fangio said it best. No cornerback, no defensive back is going to pitch, perfect. Going to have a shutout every single game. Like, they're going to have chances where they're going to get beat. The league is so great. But I do believe Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell against George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, they will hold their own. The defensive line, I feel like, is going to feast. I think Moro Ajomo is going to have a phenomenal game. I said that again. I believe Moro Ajomo, who had a top 3 training camp out of all the Philadelphia Eagles, he's going to go crazy because he's going to get a lot of one-on-ones because of the attention Jalen Carter gets. Also, Jordan Davis, he had 2 sacks in the playoffs, right? This guy dropped 25, 26 pounds. You're going to see him get one-on-ones because what they're going to say is, we're not going to let Jalen Carter beat us. If it's Jordan Davis, if it's Moro Ajomo, if it's Gabe Hall, if it's Ty Robinson, if it's Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, if it's those guys, even though I do believe that they better have attention to Nolan Smith because he's one of them guys, he's going to be a star this season. But they're thinking to themselves, we don't want Jalen Carter to beat us. We want the other guys to beat us. But the thing is, these other guys are nice. These other guys are dogs. Moro Ajomo, Jordan Davis, the depth at defensive line is why Hy Roseman felt comfortable in trading Thomas Booker, because he knew just how lethal this defensive line is after Jalen Carter with all the guys that I mentioned. So talking about the linebacker core, Jihaad Campbell is in perfect position to become the defensive rookie of the year. Jihaad Campbell is my pick for defensive rookie of the year because he's put in the best situation to succeed. There is not a situation in the NFL where a player is coming to an organization that just won the Super Bowl, has a middle linebacker who is a defensive player of the year candidate, and has 2 other linebackers, Nakobe Dean and Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who are damn good themselves. Nakobe Dean had a breakout year last season. He was one of the best linebackers in all of football, and that tandem with him and Zach Bond was amazing. So you're telling me that same guy is in the same rooms Jihaad Campbell is in. You don't think Nakobe Dean, Zach Bond are going to teach Jihaad Campbell everything they know? And you got Vic Fangio, who's the best defensive coordinator in the game. I think Jihaad Campbell is a guy that you sometimes overlook because there's so many great players on the Eagles defense. But he's somebody that I look at and I say to myself, he's going to go berserk. And you're going to see him from game one be a game wrecker. You can book it. I got him as the defensive rookie of the year because he's going to be so versatile that even when Nakobe Dean comes back and he might fill in that middle linebacker spot, or maybe they rotate depending on what's first down, third down, second down, whatever. You're also going to see similar to Cooper DeJean that Vic Fangio wants Jihaad Campbell on the field as many plays as he can. So whether that's in the middle linebacker spot, whether that's on the outside or on the edge, rather, going to the quarterback. So there's so many ways to play Jihaad Campbell, and I'm looking forward to what the Eagles do. And ultimately, I believe, again, he is in the best situation for him to win. I want to get something else. Sidney Brown, Adoree Jackson. I get folks being like, hey, why we got Adoree Jackson starting? We're already starting off bad in the secondary. I can get that because you don't let go of Isaiah Rodgers if the plan the whole time was to start Adoree Jackson. And this is not any disrespect to Adoree Jackson, but he's a vet that's been passed around this league respectfully. It was never the goal. And Howie can lie, Vic can cap. I don't even think Vic is going to cap, but like they're not going to try to act like this was the plan from the start. So I can get why like folks are skeptical about Adoree Jackson. I don't get why folks is acting like Sidney Brown is some bum. This man had a damn good training camp, and I have full confidence in him as the starting safety next to Reed, Blake, and Ship. Look, do I believe at some point this season, Andrew Mukuba is going to fill in that starting safety spot and replace Sidney Brown? I believe so, similar to how Cooper DeJean, after week 4, was inserted in the starting lineup for Avonte Maddox, and we saw him flourish. So I think a similar thing will be there for Andrew Mukuba, but Sidney Brown is still a young guy. Sidney Brown is a guy that last time I seen him for real, he was catching a pick 6 against Kyler Murray at the link. So what we talking about that this guy can't play? Like, we're not about to do that, bro. Is he sometimes reckless? Yeah, but again, CJ Gardner-Johnson, you could argue that he was reckless at times. Like, ultimately, you kind of need a guy that got that fire, is going to get into it with guys, is a hard hitter. Like, you're going to need that stuff. Is he going to take some gambles that he might otherwise, be reserved for? Yes. And we hope that this training camp with Vic Fangio, that Sidney Brown does that. I believe that Vic Fangio is confident in both Sidney Brown and Andrew Mukuba at a way higher level than he's confident in Adoree Jackson, Jacorian Bennett, and Keely Ringo, right? So again, I understand if you are upset about Adoree Jackson starting, but you should not be upset that Sidney Brown is starting. I think this guy is more than capable. And again, Andrew Mukuba is going to see the field. He should start sometime this season. It might be week 2. It might be week 3. It might be week 4. But speaking of week 2, week 3, week 4, we're going to predict the Eagles' schedule. I'm putting it out here. We're going to predict the Eagles' record for the 2025 season. I'm going to say it again for y'all. We're doing our official prediction for the 2025 season. We're going to predict the Eagles' 2025 season record. Let's get it. Versus the Cowboys, that's a W. Versus the Chiefs, I think the Eagles lose that one just because, like, all right, bro, like the Chiefs are going to be on super try hard mode. So the Eagles might lose that one, but don't be fooled, bro. we're the better team. It's just they just got some more juice. They at home, they might have it. So I got the Chiefs in that one. Let me find my glasses back on. Rams? Oh, that's a W. Buccaneers? Please, I cannot wait to beat these guys. That's a W, 3-1. Against the Broncos at home, that's a W. Against the Giants at New York, that's a W. Against the Vikings at Minnesota, that's a W. Against the Giants at home, that's a W. We clean sweep them. At Packers, that's a W. I hope that we do 3 or 4 tush pushes in that game. Against the Lions at home, that's a W. Jared Goff meet Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter meet Jared Goff. At Cowboys, that's a W. Versus the Bears at the link, that's a W. At Chargers, that is a W. Versus the Raiders at home, that's a W. At Commanders, that's a W. At Bills, that's a W. And I believe last game of the season, the Eagles stars are going to be out and the Commanders are going to be fighting for a playoff spot. I think the Commanders beat a Sam Howell or a Tanner McKee with Jaden Daniels and all their starters being in. So looking at this, the Eagles will have a 15-2 record, and they will be the #1 seed, not only in the NFC, but they will be the best team in all of football. It's going to be the Eagles. It's going to be the Ravens. They're going to be the best 2 teams in football, and the Eagles will be the best team in football. My Super Bowl prediction is Eagles beating the Ravens. I think it's going to be an all-time game. I think Lamar Jackson, but finally gets over the hump and beats Patrick Mahomes and beats a Josh Allen and potentially beats a Joe Burrow in the playoffs. Either one of those guys or all 3 or a combination of 2 out of the 3, he's going to beat those guys to the Super Bowl, but he's going to meet a man that in the Super Bowl, he plays at his apex, and he's going to learn that we're the real bird. The Eagles are the real bird. The Ravens are the real bird. We're America's bird. Matter of fact, F America's bird. We're the bird from Philadelphia. We're the guys, bruh. When nobody likes us, and we do not care. Nobody likes us, and we do not care. That's what it is. So I got the Eagles beating the Ravens in a classic 33-27. And I believe because Hurts is going to have an MVP season in the Super Bowl, they might actually focus in on Jalen Hurts. And then you're going to see Saquon Barkley go for 250 and 3 touchdowns, and he wins Super Bowl MVP. So, man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We are going so crazy this season. I've never been so locked in to the channel, to the Eagles content, to all sports content, because you know we do NFL, NBA, all sports, all topics. Nobody has a limit on real talk, but y'all know we from Philly, so we gotta just talk about the bitty for the people in here. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. It is Real Talk with MJ, where I know I'll always keep it real. I'm out, y'all.